I've still got the thing. Let's just tell Bomb YouTube isn't working, but...
Oh, never mind. YouTube's there.
Oh, okay.
And it started right when I said, I don't think YouTube's going to come back. I think YouTube had.
Twitch people, have you got us okay?
They probably... I thought you checked, you
Well, it
monster.
was fine on my Twitch. Yep, Potato says boo.
That helps. Thank you very much. Okay, check that. Done that. Oh, no, that's the wrong term.
And Terry says, yes, Twitch is fine.
Well, are you sure he said that? Maybe
Yeah.
it was more of
But
a
Bomb says
passive-aggressive... Fine then, I guess.
No, I think it's fine. Bernie says, I see nothing. I hear nothing. You troll. Okay, so...
Oh, yeah, I have a problem, by the way.
We know.
What's that?
I don't know.
What's the problem you're aware of? Should I be aware of the problem
Should I
I'm
just
having?
write you a list? Large reactors on there. Or instrumentation and control should be a yellow. You know it, Sal. So if this is going to be the level that we walk at, then I think... Oh, hang on a second. Are you going to want all of the thrusters on the inside? Mia?
No, you can have thrusters on the outside.
Okay, so
just try to make them look nice-ish. As in, we can add wheel arches and just stick them in there or something.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Okay.
So remember that whole funny ploy I pulled on all of my quote-unquote university friends with that Marvel movie?
Is there meant to be a video of someone dancing on screen?
What? No.
No.
No, I don't. There's nobody dancing on our screen. Hold on, I can fix this.
Hang on. Is the key on... Have they got a key on the wall by any chance?
That's not how it works. Is
Bernie
it this
says...
button? Okay, now somebody's dancing in the upper tiny corner there. If you can count this as dancing. Hold on. What if I lean that way? There you go. No, it's ruined it. It's ruined it. Curse you, Keen. I've done everything I could.
By the way, I would like to bring the previous topic of cell phones back up.
Oh, yes, please. Because I'm still trying to find one. So I looked at the Sony Xperia ZX1 Compact, which sits at an almost comfortable 4.3 inches. Which is, you know, about half an inch larger than the current iPhone I have. Well, a little bit more, but almost an inch larger than the phone that I currently have, which I imagine is bearable. Then again, it's only half an inch away from the bloody slab that Sal's carrying around with the iPhone, what was it, 6?
I don't know.
There you go. This is just a bloody nightmare, so I'm not entirely sure. And then it turns out that, oh, you can't buy this because they're not supporting the operating system anymore. Like, ugh. Why did they make this so difficult?
Because they're sat there rubbing their hands together going, ha 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 ha. We know what will upset him this time.
What? As in, me specifically? Me with my tiny hands?
Yep.
I do believe the fact that I do have a phone without a cracked screen primarily comes from the fact that I can fit the whole phone inside my hand, which makes it far less likely that I'm just going to let the entire tablet drop off into the sky. Did the person who brought this up have any better suggestions?
Oh, and Terry said Disco Mere, but Bomb said much better, thanks. Bernie says, recently Mia was very upset about cell phones becoming larger and larger, but no one ever talks about how nowadays your browser app needs to be allowed to access your camera, make calls, and a third thing I can't recall right now, or else it refuses to bloody work. Babom says iPhone SE is the best phone size.
No, not quite. The SE is still half an inch larger, and at the moment I'm, slightly peeved with Apple.
Oh, what's he done to you?
They make their phones bloody bigger like everyone else!
Thrusters are instrumentation and control.
Yeah. And, I don't want another iPhone. Or if I do, there are currently rumours going about that they're going to re-release the iPhone SE with the most recent version, which is either going to bring down the price of the current SE, or, release a current version of the iPhone SE in small, maybe even smaller. We'll never know. We'll find out, maybe, eventually.
Which one was the SE?
The SE is the iPhone that looks like mine.
Oh, okay.
So it looks like this, about half an inch larger, and just has the hardware of the modern iPhones. It's kind of like them trying to go back to their roots or something.
Terry says phones have become ridiculously pricey.
That too. I apparently have to pay like £500 just to get the next newest version of the Nokia XZ2 now compact, which is even larger. They didn't even maintain the 4.3 inches screen size. No, they made the next compact phone larger than the previous compact phone. What is this? Why do the small phones have to follow the same dumb trend? And you still have to pay 500 quid for this nonsense.
May I just get a Nokia brick? It will be compatible with your operating system.
Well, this is not quite how it works. I need a phone that can bloody open Skype without dying. That's the main gripe I currently have with my phone. Every time I'm trying to look at all the nonsense people tell me about pooping somewhere in public, Anubis, I just can't open it. Add that to the fact that, as of recently, I apparently have accrued so much of a chat history that it can't open Discord without, it crashing on startup, but it works perfectly fine if I try it on an account that doesn't have any stuff on it so far, because I only use it to Mearbot things or something. I'm wandering around, wondering what to do, because I got sidetracked on a rant about stuff.
So, which shape do I need then?
What do you mean?
I want a slopey up this way. Let's put... let's see. Bernie was just having a rant, but I mostly missed it. It's mostly off the top of the screen.
Seriously, I just bought the ZTE Blade V9 and was setting it up, and I preferred to give my apps as few permissions as possible.
Which
but it
I
just
agree
wouldn't
with,
let me. Why the bloody hell would my browser need to make calls for me? I'm the one who bloody makes the phone calls, not whatever browser they choose for me.
Then we missed something about progress. Anubis.
Babom said the iPhone SE is basically an iPhone 5S but with better hardware. Terry said, they call it progress, debatable. And Anubis is showing me people pooping in public. No, Anubis is the pooper.
Is he showing you himself pooping in public?
Excuse me, you people talk about this nonsense on Skype.
I can't remember having a discussion about...
You're not remembering things hard enough. You don't even remember the plot of your favourite movie. Why would you remember Anubis pooping in a corner?
Square bottom, pointy top. Which one's that?
What do you mean?
Have we got one which is...
Oh, yeah, we do. It's the one in the top middle. The one with the triangle looking at you.
Aha.
And while I still can open Skype to look at Manubis pooping in a corner, as he does so usually, sometimes, occasionally, it's not a very frequent thing, but people still talk about it, I can still do that, but the phone is just dying slowly, and it's only a matter of time before Microsoft just releases an update that makes it entirely impossible for me to look at Anubis pooping in a corner.
No, that's not it, man.
I don't think we have that sort of thing.
Okay, in that case, I'll just go for one of those, and then we'll put a triangle down here, like so. Now, I best go get some energy, hadn't I? Before I do
should probably weld up these boys before I...
Boys?
Yeah.
You sex your... What was it? Thrusters?
No, buoyant. Buoyant, as in they're bobbing up on the ocean surface.
Well, that makes sense too.
Thank you.
Mia, the browser needs to phone home.
The browser does not need to phone home.
Oh, the reason some of the Twitch messages don't come through is because of the limited message length on YouTube. Oh.
Ah, yeah, that's true.
Square bottom, pooping in public. At least pooping. Is he at least pooping in a toilet, or did he just pop a squat?
It was a corner.
To be honest, I'm not really seeing the problem with not looking at Anubis shitting in public.
Well, it's not just that. They sometimes talk about other things.
Like important things.
Like
our trip to Australia, yay!
Well, no, we've primarily done that in voice chat. Another important thing, what was something important? Hold on, I can... I don't need that. Stop with Windows. So apparently, ruminating is a different version of interior design that follows the approaches of Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator, which makes ruminating quite deadly, but at least it looks pretty. Those are the important topics that we discuss, and I need to know about this at work. Which is, why it's mildly infuriating to me that Skype just mildly dies. I mean, how am I supposed to reply to this if Skype takes about an hour to bring up the little keyboard to let me type stuff?
Was that a message I missed today?
Well, I don't know what you missed.
I haven't looked at any messages
today. I'm not allowed to be your secretary.
Oh, wrong one. That one? No, wrong one. That one. The bomb says, like public indecency. People chatter on this now. They're really invested in the whole Anubis making poops. I'm sure is how he put it in public. Because he wouldn't have phrased it any differently to that. I'm sure. Right, so 1.
It's not funny, really. It's a serious medical condition.
3.
It's called having bowels.
4.
We're all terribly sorry for him, to be honest.
5. Okay, so then I want to put 2 on here and put the thrusters there. Where did I put thrusters? There. Shitting in public in Australia could get your arse bitten by snakes, spiders and other killer animals. Does work not have a policy against social media during work hours? No, work's actually...
follow the example of my boss.
We have... At the moment, we're following a very liberal, enlightened agenda. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, that describes it actually fairly well.
Yeah.
It's a nice place to work at.
Yeah.
I'm lucky to have a position there. I only have to put up with some minor inconveniences. Upper management hating me.
Upper management loves you. You work really hard and they notice.
I know.
And they still sit you next to...
Steve doesn't like me.
He does.
Stevenage.
Yeah, we are... as managers, we are expected not to supervise our staff, but to supervise their output.
Is a very poor choice of words here.
So I am expected to task my staff with, like for someone who works 7 days a week, I am expected to task them with 7 days a week worth of work. And then, as far as is practical, allow them to work the hours of their choosing to do that. So they don't need to do it. And yet I'm
still not allowed to be in the office 24 hours a day in the middle of the night.
Yeah, you see, this is where my duty of care comes in. I've told you about that.
Yeah, she keeps roping on about this duty of care. It's probably not really existent. She just does it to bully me because upper management hates me specifically.
See, it's not really fair on... I keep telling Mia it's not fair on the others if instead of doing... the equivalent, not 7 days a week, sorry, 5 days a week. Did Anubis wipe and wash his hands, or did he just shit and go? He did a shit and split, a poop and scoot. But Mom said, I'm not going to ask.
He had food afterwards.
Mia's position at work on the desk being fondled by Diet Soup Lady. But Mom says, work 7 days a week? Yeah. I'd actually realised my mistake before I saw your message there. See, I task my guys all with 5 days worth of work a week, those that work 5 days. And if Mia does more
if I'm trying
to
work 7 days a week, she only gives me 3 days of work and I have to machinate something else.
If Mia insists on working longer hours and doing more than the tasks I've given him to do, then it makes everybody else feel guilty and it destroys this sort of sense of teamwork and everybody pulling an appropriate level of their own weight. So he's trying to be a sweaty tryhard in the office, and
wow, shots fired.
Instead of it making him look like a sweaty tryhard, it just makes the rest of my team look like they're not working as hard as they could be, because
they're not just working as hard as me.
Because they're not working as hard as him, and because he's one of the lowest paid people in the office, the management look at this and say, "Well, that's not right. The rest of your staff are lazy, Sal. Why is this?"
I was hoping it would have the opposite effect and I get a pay rise, but yeah, this works too, I guess. Socialism, everybody. First world problem, not having enough work. I do have enough work, otherwise I wouldn't know what to do with myself in the office. The only problem is that my boss won't allow me to do that work.
He steals work from other people. He does other people out of a job by doing too much work that he's not getting paid for.
I mean, yeah, technically you're right, but have you seen...
absolutely I'm right.
Have you seen how nice the room booking system looks? They're organised by colour.
Yeah, nobody knows that but you, though, mate.
I noticed it, and I love myself for it.
That's good.
I take pride in this part of my job.
I'm pleased.
And you're trying to give it to the cool guy.
I'm going to give that bit of your job away, though, because you're obviously overworked because you're working too many hours, so I'm going to take something off you and give it to somebody else.
Who the hell put a glass pane here? What the hell?
Doing with yourself at work, Mia, is probably not a good idea. So by talking to Sal, are we technically speaking to the manager? Yes.
Yes, she is the manager.
I am the manager. I also have a manager, though.
She does have a... we all
so
have
when
managers.
I refer to management, I'm actually talking about my bosses.
Well, yeah,
most
but
of the
usually...
time, unless I'm referring to management including me, in which case I'm talking about me.
Well, to be fair, her management is my management most of the time while she's sitting at home doing bug it all. Sorry, she's working from home. She's working from home. Thanks, boss. She's a very diligent worker.
I worked hard to get those skiving off moments.
She does. She does.
Alright, I probably need a whole host of thruster components, I think.
Mir is the interim... ISOC? Who? Slock? Lsock?
ISOC from
the
Dilbert cartoons.
What's that?
Unspotted Cows, still awake. Managerception. Socialism, except Mir gets less money than everybody else.
Yeah. Well, no, not well at the moment, but it'll change. Communism is going to come soon.
Speaking of which, we've not seen Lieutenant Lucan for ages now.
What was that?
What?
Speaking of socialism,
Communism.
the Russian guy isn't here.
No, communism.
Yeah, I know.
If anyone's going to make a joke about communism,
what the hell?
it's Lieutenant
I
Lucan.
was just almost snapped to death by a closing door.
Are you awake, Spotted Cow? Maybe this is your dream. Maybe you were never awake. Maybe you will never be awake. Is that Lord Lucan? Yeah, Lieutenant Lord Lucan. Do you know who Lord Lucan is? Oh, maybe I should make Lord Lucan like one of my
So I'm not even allowed to ask about him now?
What?
Who's Lord Lucan?
He disappeared under mysterious circumstances.
Ah. I'm not allowed to know those circumstances now?
Nobody knows those circumstances. That's the whole thing.
Well, that's where you're going wrong.
Right, large steel tubes.
I was killed by another door just now.
Babom says, Lord Lucan? Yeah. Do you not know about Lord Lucan? Oh, maybe this is a thing I should do in one of my panel shows. We'll do the mysterious Lord Lucan. The Spotted Cow says, hey, go away, Matrix Bugger. I'm having a good sleep. Thruster components. Well, let's get this large steel tubes in first. Oh, it's ASOC. Oh, yeah, he's the he's the guy who works really hard while the rest of them are all just there being jaded and stuff. Yep, he's the intern who's very hardworking and very enthusiastic about all the things that management put to him. Yeah, and everybody hates him.
Oh.
Oh dear.
That's okay, I had suspicions all along.
You see, this is what I'm protecting you from, Mir. I don't want you to end up like that.
Like some weird sock.
ASOC. ASOC.
I have no idea who that is.
He's the sweaty tryhard intern. Oh, one of these needed construction components. One of these. Oh, yeah. Any university stories, Mir?
No.
Yeah, I'll probably put the inside ones inside.
That's where they usually go.
Large steel tubes.
I think I've got the engine room. Oh, no, yeah, right. The front bit here. I keep forgetting.
Oh, so I was... I started to do some research last night on my next script. Which, as we discussed last time, I want to play around with the format of how would the show work if people know beforehand what the topic is and that it's a topic that everybody knows something about. And so I thought I'd make it something about the JFK assassination, like with all of the material that's been released in recent years. And so I'd read enough to know that there was definitely stuff of interest to talk about. But I hadn't, like, it was a while ago and I wasn't thinking about writing scripts at the time, so it went in one ear and out the other. And I wasn't especially interested. I just knew that it was something that had mildly piqued my curiosity. So I went back and did the research, and oh my God, it's like, you know, now that I'm sort of reading it properly and thinking, okay, so I need about 5 minutes to talk about here. What should I pull out as the highlights? And it's like, how many enemies did this bloke have? How did he manage to survive as long as he did? There was so many people like circling around him, just waiting for the opportunity. Potato said, any university stories, Sal? Any university stories, Potato? But Bum says, don't worry, Mia, we don't hate you. We just love laughing with you.
I know.
Yeah, you see, Mia, this is what I'm protecting you from.
From the bomb?
No.
Finally!
From being the sweaty tryhard who's then disliked by all of his colleagues because he makes... Instead of making himself look good, he just makes them look bad. I'm helping you learn how to make yourself look good without making everybody else look bad. Because I've been reasonably good at that. Was JFK one of the presidents who brought votes during the election? Actually, I didn't read much at all about how he got elected, or the lead up to his election, or like his campaigning, or anything like that. I just looked at the forces that were arrayed against him and why that, or allegedly arrayed against him, and why that may be. So it's like, why? Because they make out that there's all these people who were involved in, or there's been so many different accusations when it comes to conspiracy theories. It was the FBI, it was the CIA, it was the mafia, it was this mafia, it was that mafia.
It was the local gardening association.
It was, what are the other common ones? The military industry, big oil, the president that came after him, the vice president who took over, and many more. There's kind of, it's like, how it was a bit overkill on the conspiracy theories. It's like, so I was looking into it and thinking, what do I make of a script of this? And then as I started, I was looking for the most interesting line, or at least something a bit comical or something. And it's just like, the thing that struck me was just how it's like, no wonder no one has ever got to the bottom of whether or not there was a conspiracy, and if there was, who was involved in the conspiracy, because there were so many people out to get him. Or there were so many people who had motive.
Including Mir.
Pretty sure you're not on that list.
That's what you'd like to think. Now, hold on. That's what you're supposed to think. Sorry, I got this wrong.
Okay, so... I'm not even sure about putting this floor in now when I've had to flatten so much out already. We'll see. At Tammy, when did they reform it to stop people selling votes? Tammy says, J. Edgar Hoover. Don't forget J. Yeah! Oh my god, I thought a good place to start when you're... And I emphasise start here. A good place to start when you're going to research something is Wikipedia. Because it's whilst it's not exactly a quotable source, it's very good at giving you a summary and points you at which sources to start with, because like, for example, there's 4 million papers that have been released in relation to JFK, and that's a lot. So there's a couple in particular that I was interested in, but I thought I'd start with Wikipedia and just do the background research, because just do this sort of look over the whole topic, because that gives you a good sense of what's important and what's not, where to start. And well, I fell down the rabbit hole. Started reading up on Wikipedia and got into J. Edgar Hoover gets mentioned. I thought, now there's a name I know. Why do I keep flying slightly oddly, like sideways?
Oh, sorry, that's because I'm moving the ship towards...
Oh, can you hold a moment? I'm
holding a moment. Sorry, I wasn't aware.
And I didn't realise it was the ship moving. It's okay, I'm anchored now. You can move again if you like. Yeah, and so I thought, right, J. Edgar Hoover. I just thought, there's somebody whose name that is associated with lots of things. I should know more about that. And so I just read the Wikipedia article about him. That was all. And I was like, oh my word. Okay. So, assuming that it all checks out and that there's nothing major missing, are just things like the fact that the FBI not acknowledging that there was such a thing as organised crime until 1957, because it didn't really suit their agenda to acknowledge such things. They were too busy looking at subversives and keeping America free from traitors. But yeah, it's a difficult one because I don't actually want to get political. Ooh. And the parties and the politics have changed so much. This is so long ago that the policies of the parties have just changed out of all recognition on all sides. Like in the 1930s, town would group together and auction off their votes to the president nominees. Really? I hadn't heard about that either. She is my attack dove, where if she sees anything that isn't me and attacks it, she can't hurt anything, but I like her determination. Forget about the ice bone bullet. I'm all for the highly radioactive bullet with the extremely short half-life that decomposes before the autopsy. Well, I wasn't particularly looking at was there or was there not someone on the grassy knoll. Was there or was there not? Aren't there rumours of J. Edgar Hoover wearing women's clothes or underwear or something? There was, but the rumours were not considered credible. And they don't really fit with his MO. However, was he homosexual? I would imagine that all of my homosexual friends would absolutely have him pegged down as being gay, yet he would set off everybody's gaydar. Absolutely. But was he a transvestite? No credible sources. And if he was dressing in women's clothes in private, that'd be one thing. But to go to a party in women's clothes doesn't seem like he was so careful with how he crafted his public persona. It seems wholly unlikely. But yes, there were rumours. But God, what a yeah, not a. He's not somebody. Put it this way: if he was my CEO, I wouldn't work in his company. And he was the head of the FBI until the day he died. Mia's too quiet. Too quiet. Mia, you're being too quiet.
Apparently I'm being too quiet.
Why have you got a drill?
Because we're out of platinum.
Oh, well, why don't we take a ship?
I am taking the ship right now.
Can I come along for the ride? I fancy sitting in the ship and just like going and watching.
Oh, of course. Feel free to.
Where are you?
Do you have one of those super drills on you?
No,
produced
I
one,
put
but
it
I have
in...
no idea where it went. I'm suspecting Boris.
I put my super drill in a cargo container somewhere.
You've got the medium drill, not the super drill.
I had a 3 thing.
Oh, that's the one.
Actually, I'm not sure.
Well, hop on in.
Gonna. Am I in the back carriage?
I don't know. Wherever you want to sit. You could hop into the cryopod. You could hop into the auxiliary cockpit.
I'll go into the auxiliary cockpit. Okay, I'm in. Let's get for...
Fuel critical.
Oh, yeah.
What? Is it really?
Ship fuel critical.
How much uranium do you have?
We're doing fine.
Okay. Oh, I love the sounds, because we're sitting right next to the thrusters. We can hear all the thruster noises.
Well, that's the end of that.
What?
We're going into drift.
Why?
Because we don't need to boost all the way there. This is an energy-saving method.
But aren't we on... like... Are we short of fuel?
What? Well, no, not necessarily, but it would be handy to... not waste battery power when we don't need to. What's chat saying?
Do you know J. Edgar Hoover, when he took control of... I can't remember if it was the FBI or the Bureau of Investigations before it became the FBI. I think it was Bureau of Investigations. I think that was its name. He was like the head of the Department of Investigations. When he took over, the first thing that he did was to fire all of the female employees. And I think it was something like 30 to 40% of all of the agents were female. And he banned them and said, we'll have no more females around here.
Did he have a very good reason?
Don't know.
Or even a bad reason?
I don't even know what his reasoning was. But yeah, there's enough conspiracy theories about him to fill a show, but they're not particularly. They're not the kind of ones where it's like the JFK ones, because I want to focus on extraordinary stories. The JFK ones are so diverse and from so many angles that it's extraordinary. And I think that might be, if I do manage to make a script out of this, I'll probably just be pointing, it'll be a script about the many enemies of JFK rather than who pulled the trigger, because I've come to the conclusion it doesn't really matter who pulled the trigger and how many triggers were pulled.
What if JFK was the one?
They were all waiting to do it, and there's some who are less likely than others because of momentary opportunity. Yeah, J. Edgar Hoover is just like, it's not even an extraordinary story. It's just a bit of a not nice one. Maybe the women agents were like the diet soup lady and kept touching J. Edgar Hoover, and he was like Mia.
I will not stand for people touching my wrist. This is my J. Edgar Hoover impression. I think it fits more a Churchill one.
He was definitely a woman hater.
Yes, take that, woman.
How can you have an American accent?
Get yourself an American and an empty bottle.
Okay.
Then you need an accent extractor gun.
An accent extractor? What the hell is an accent extractor?
Have you never seen one?
Is that like a vacuum cleaner that you just shove down their throat?
It looks like a cross between a large.
This was supposed to be a joke. You're not supposed to just vacuum throats.
Large syringe, but with a vacuum tube on it. And what you do is you put the vacuum tube down an American throat, and you get them to say the alphabet very, very quickly. And then you extract the accent as they speak it.
Well, Tammy says, personally, my American accent comes naturally. And Bill also says, at this rate, we don't even need that show Sal's scripting anymore. Everything has been discussed here already. Well, no, this is just a third of the show.
Yeah.
The actual meat of the show consists of people like Boris then trying to talk around it, which should usually look fairly funny.
Sal, stop bullshitting Mia. He's liable to take you at your word. My favourite alternative shooter is the guy who was protesting with the umbrella, which apparently is a means of showing you support, that you support pacifism, as it's a reference to Chamberlain. They accuse him of using an umbrella gun. Oh, that's fantastic. I did look into that bit. I think there's a bit of, when I say fantastic, I mean, there's a bit of fantastical stuff about that, and then there's a bit which actually looks quite reasonable. So, for people who don't know, as JFK was doing his motorcade, crowds were standing around and stuff, and I'm surprised that there wasn't more crowds. There wasn't that many people lining the streets or anything. Not like when the Queen goes out and the streets are all 3 people thick. The people were dotted around the motorcade, dotted around the route. And just as stood at one side of the road was a guy with an umbrella. And it was a weekday. And it wasn't raining. It was bright sunshine, and he stood there with an umbrella up. And it was just as the car got right next to the umbrella guy that the shooting started. And so one theory is that if there was more than one shooter, they would need a signal, or if there was some sort of conspiracy so that coordinated action could be taken, they need some sort of signal. Now, I think they probably could have done it a bit easy by saying when the car gets to the third lamppost on the left or something. But no, they decided to go with an umbrella
excuse me, there are people
guy.
like you who just confuse left and right.
It's and it could be that they hadn't running with a conspiracy theory. It could be that the conspirators, of which it may have been any one of a whole bunch of people, and they decided that they wanted to give a signal. They didn't want to tell people in advance, but they wanted to have a signal that they could deploy on the day. So they'd say, when the car gets to the guy holding an umbrella, that's when you start shooting. So the umbrella guy himself, somebody did come forward saying, I was the umbrella guy, and I was holding the umbrella not because he was a pacifist, but to protest against Kennedy, who was trying to enter peace talks who was trying to take the heat out of the world wars that were potentially brewing right at that moment. But then other theories have suggested that actually the Umbrella Man, that he was CIA, and that the umbrella was a dart gun. And that what happened was, as he put his umbrella up, darts shot out of the webbing and shot JFK to not to kill him, but to numb him so that he would stay still for when he got shot. Now, interestingly, what happened in not the Warren Commission, which was the first one that looked at very little evidence, and this is what's one of the things that's quite interesting, is that later commissions looked at what the Warren Commission looked at and said, basically, why didn't you look at the rest? Why did you actively decide not to look at all the evidence? Why did you only speak to the people who... So, for example, I can't remember how many people in total witnessed the shooting, but certainly in a group of... trying to remember the numbers now. In a sample selection that were re-interviewed in a later commission, just under half of the witnesses or witness reports reported that they'd heard shooting from the grassy knoll or somewhere else. And just over half said that they thought that it came from the book repository. But particularly the people who were stood on the grassy knoll all said that the shots came from behind them, not in front of them. But anybody who was a witness who said that they heard the shots coming from somewhere other than the book repository weren't interviewed by the Warren Commission, the original one. It's like they only investigated the evidence that matched the particular line that they were going with. That was actually the first thing that I was thinking about doing, was like looking at the incompetency of the original investigation. Rather, like I say, I mean, was there 2 shooters? Was there 6 shooters? It could have been anything. We don't know. A good number of records have been destroyed. There's not going to answer that. But what we can say is that that first commission was either extremely incompetent or purposefully didn't investigate all of the evidence. And why? But anyway, a CIA guy came forward for one of the later commissions and said, here's the blueprints for my dart gun umbrella. And said, yeah, 1963 we had umbrellas that shot darts. I'm a CIA engineer and I did it. Here's a blueprint. So the idea of shooting... that wasn't darts that were shot out of the webbing, though. It was the spine, like the pole of your umbrella. It shot darts out of that, so you would actually need a closed umbrella. But he was just like, yeah, we did them. We had them. They were a thing. He acted calm afterwards, so he claims he didn't see what happened, so stood there whilst everyone else panicked. Because the umbrella blocked his view of the shooting. And his theory was that, or what he said, the reason why he stood there with the umbrella was because of Chamberlain and his umbrella. And Chamberlain had a policy of appeasement. I haven't even looked to see what the appeasement thing was about, but it was, Chamberlain had a policy of appeasement, and JFK was following a policy of appeasement, and so he was protesting it by holding his umbrella. To be honest, Sal, it was probably a very stressful and chaotic situation, so I'm not relying on anyone's account. After all, eyewitness testimony is the least valid form of evidence in the court of science. Oh yeah, absolutely. But when you have when the only people that you choose to testify to a commission are only the ones who provide evidence A, and you actively exclude the people who give evidence B or C, then you start looking at, well, why didn't you take a selection of these people? Why do you only talk to the people who... So, it's are you stuck?
No, but...
What's wrong? Oh.
You're looking at something that's not supposed to be happening.
Hang on.
Go look away. There's a Mayday signal about 10 kilometers away from here. If you fly around the asteroid, you see it. Go on an adventure, please. Cheers. Ooh, no. Oh, you've made mistakes.
Mayday signals. Now, last time I flew up to one of these, I died.
Well, yeah, it's a Mayday signal, so
I don't want to fly into it at high speed this time. My inventory's full.
Oh, you should have probably emptied that. Oh, that was scary.
Did you see the film of the assassination? Oh, hang on, what's that? Chamberlain was appeasing Germany and Hitler. I have here in my hand a piece of paper that ensures peace in our times. Tammy says, did you see the film of the assassination? I have in the past. I didn't look at it this time. I was just having a... Oh, the only thing I was looking at this time was just which bit of the story should I focus on? Oh, I got a rainbow rifle.
Hooray!
Shortly after Germany invaded Poland, and said, no, Terry invaded Czechoslovakia immediately after promising to Chamberlain he wouldn't. So, sorry, but I'm wrong country. I wasn't there at the time. And I was crap at history. Potato says, wow, you got out in one piece. Let's just see what's in the cargo container. Oh, we'll take that. Well, I suppose motors are more...
We need a new platinum asteroid soon.
Wow, I flew past that quick enough.
Oop.
Now, if I leave some scrap metal just floating in space...
It won't harm. It'll probably remove it soon anyway.
Yeah. What, me?
Look around. White signal. To the left. White signal.
Clang was lenient today. Yeah, don't seem to have had any problems since switching back to the old graphics card. A Bomb says 22:01, coming up to the end. Bernie says 4 minutes. I'm not looking, I'm flying past the asteroid.
That's fine, that's fine. I'm just reversing out. Probably just destroyed a bit of platinum in the process there.
You know, I'm trying not to look even on your screen. It's like, no, that's not how it works. I can look at your screen.
Yes, you can.
Yeah. It's not my eyes that are causing the problem. It's
I would like to believe it is.
Hang on a minute. Are we heading back? Because, like, it's time.
Just a moment. Just teensy tiny moment.
Are you smoothing off rock edges or something there, man?
We're just getting the last bit of this autoposit. Ah, it's up there in the wall. Never mind.
Can I look?
You probably can.
Okay. Gonna get in? Is that wise, or shall I wait until you're out of the hole?
Maybe it would be wiser to wait until I'm out.
Okay. Bernie says, right then, see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Yes, we shall. So, we'll be... Mia?
Yes?
Are you... I'm just stood here twiddling my grinder.
That sounds like a euphemism. Well, I can't reverse out, can I?
Why?
Because there's rocks.
Are you stuck? Well, you got in. If you got in, you must be able to get out.
Not if the ship is wiggling and wedges itself. So there's only one way out, and that's through.
Okay. So, which way's through? Yes, so we shall see you all tomorrow at 8 PM GMT +1, where we'll be doing some more of this, and hopefully Mir will have made his way out of this hole here.
I'm sure I will.
He looks like he's trying to drill through the thick bit of the asteroid rather than the thin bit of the asteroid. Mia has now collected 7 grams of salt. Bye all, I'll leave Mia getting stuck. Bye Terry. The bomb says, Mia, just dig yourself out. And yeah, that's what he's trying to do.
Yeah, if you want to, you can press the slash
button
to end the stream. I'm just going to slowly get out of here.
Alright everyone, we'll see you tomorrow 8 PM GMT +1. Bye for now.